Our look at the Marvel Legends celebration of the Avengers 60th anniversary continues with the Thor versus Marvel's Destroyer 2-pack on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, action figure aficionados? Way I Got It Figured back with another Marvel Legends Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest review. This time we're looking at Thor versus the Destroyer. This pack I bought at Target or during the 50% off clearance price. And I was happy to be able to get it. I was able to get this and the Incredible Hulk pack, you know, essentially for the price of one. It's always a good time when you can do that. I was totally all in on, you know, the Destroyer is a classic Thor villain, a classic Avengers villain, and this version of Thor being the Erik Masterson version from the early 90s. I was, you know, it's a completely different version of Thor. It's Thor, but it's not Thor. And I wanted to add him to my collection, and there's a lot of kind of notes to go with that. So we're gonna get into it. So obviously we're gonna start with the box, and we got our money Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest program packaging. Very cool packaging. I actually kind of hang on to these boxes because I think they look so nice. And your normal 4+ plastic-free packaging stuff. You got some nice art, Walter Simonson artwork behind Thor and the Destroyer, and you got your head that doesn't even go on this figure, but we'll get more into that on the front. On the side, you've got Thor once again with his bearded look that doesn't go on this figure. On the other side, you got some artwork of Thor and the Destroyer by Walter Simonson once again. And then on the back, you've got Thor and the Destroyer with their accessories, and this time with the proper head on this version of Thor. All right, so we've looked at the packaging. Oh, wait, of course, you got your Avengers 60 Years of Earth's Mightiest. So, of course, you got that. So that's your look at the packaging. Now we're going to get them out and see what we can see. We're back with Thor and the Destroyer out of the package. Yeah, they look pretty cool. So we've got their accessories here. Thor comes with one left fist and the extra head that I will discuss in further detail. And the Destroyer comes with a fisted hand and a gripping hand. So we'll look at the Destroyer first. He's definitely, I would say he's the star of the show. I don't know that they've ever made a Destroyer before. I'm gonna guess not, because he's completely pinless, and I don't recall them making the Destroyer before. The Destroyer in Marvel Comics lore is an enchanted suit of armor created by Odin that can house the spirit of whoever it is, you know, quote unquote, wearing the armor. So, like, you know, when you're inside the suit, it's not like a flesh and blood person under here. You're just sort of a disembodied while you inhabit it. And once Thor was unable to heal, Hela had cursed him so that he couldn't heal. In fact, that's when he had the beard. And to survive, well, not survive, but continue living in a sense, Thor inhabited the Destroyer because he would never die. He just couldn't heal. So, like, if he got turned into a protoplasmic ball of goo or whatever, he would still be alive and suffering and pain and all that kind of stuff. So he donned the Destroyer armor to get his life back. That's just one of the stories with the Destroyer. Odin has inhabited the Destroyer. Regular people have inhabited the Destroyer. And the Destroyer is like, you know, a Juggernaut type level villain. Like, you know, I mean, I would probably argue the Destroyer is like more Juggernaut than Juggernaut in the comics. So yeah, it's a super duper powerful villain. You can take on the entire team of Avengers and not really bat an eye. And it's really cool to have him in Marvel Legends. Now, over to Thor. So this version of Thor is Thor from the 90s. And what the story behind this version of Thor is, you know, Thor had fallen ill or something. Some sort of mystical thing had happened to him. And so Thor was absent. But his friend, Erik Masterson, had been found worthy to lift the hammer of Thor, and he became his own Thor. So if you think of like Jane Foster becoming Thor, it's the exact same kind of paradigm. And to hide his identity, even though he was drawn exactly like Thor, like, you know, he turned into Thor. But to hide his identity, he wore the mask on top of the helmet. And as you can see, the boots are different. These are the accurate sort of boots that he had. They probably should have been more shiny like this, but you know, the gold plastic, they didn't paint them. They just made them out of gold plastic, so there's that. And the sides of his suit he did not have an undersuit. So they've painted these, they painted the sides, which, you know, I guess is how you have to do it. They're certainly not going to remold an entire Thor just to get this part flesh toned. But it does look close enough to the character. I do think that they should have made all of this blue because he didn't really have like trunks. That's probably the only actual inaccurate thing I see here. He didn't have the trunks. And the silver disc might have had points on them or something like that. I'll have to look it up. But this is the Thor that was in the Avengers when the Infinity Gauntlet story came out. And therefore, this is the Thor that fought in the Infinity Gauntlet. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, he just sort of stayed silent, you know, because he led the Avengers to believe, you know, he did not disabuse them of the notion that he was actually Thor, because he didn't, you know, he wasn't used to living in the superhero kind of world or whatever, and he didn't want to kind of have to try and explain to the Avengers what had happened to Thor. I'm not even sure he actually knew exactly what happened to Thor, but it was a pretty good run. Tom DeFalco wrote all that stuff, And Joe Sinnott did the artwork. Now, this alternate head sculpt of Thor with the beard. This is from an earlier run than this figure, like years earlier. The Walter Simonson run of Thor, where he had grown a beard and he was fighting, you know, on Asgard, all around the thing that I told you about earlier, which was Hela cursing them and all that sort of stuff. Walter Simonson wrote and drew, and I think Louise Simonson, his wife, she might have wrote it and he was drawing it, something like that. And it was a whole epic, the Surtur epic. So, you know, this portrait kind of belongs on a regular Thor. So I'm not even going to put it on this figure. It just doesn't go on there. So what I'm going to do is conveniently, I'm going to pull out this Ragnarok figure that I bought and reviewed last year. And he's going to volunteer his head to create the true Walter Simonson bearded Thor. At least the true Walter Simonson bearded Thor before he got the armor. He had an armored suit. And he literally ended up being sort of like gelatin inside the suit too, by the way. That actually happened. It wasn't, you know, just something I just said might happen. It actually did happen. But so he got injured fighting in so many battles. He had to have the armor. And then he fought the Midgard Serpent. And the Midgard Serpent, he destroyed the Midgard Serpent, but the Midgard Serpent destroyed him. But because of Hela's curse, he did not die. He just was like a protoplasmic blob. So he sort of cheated Ragnarok in that sense. But he started out with the beard, wearing his traditional Thor outfit. And so that's how this is going to happen. Ragnarok is now truly going to be kind of just an alternate head. If I want to use Ragnarok to display for whatever reason, and I'll just have two Thors with this body. So here too is the Marvel 80th anniversary Thor. Same outfit, a little bit different deco. Close enough for government work for this head sculpt. So there you have it. I guess there's not really much more to say. The articulation is the same as any other Marvel Legends Thor figure. If you want to see it, you can look it up on my Ragnarok video. I'm going to end right there and get to final thoughts. Final thoughts on the Marvel Legends Beyond Earth's Mightiest Thor versus the Marvel's Destroyer 2-pack. I'm happy with this purchase. I would recommend it to anybody who's a true Marvel fan, Avengers fan, Thor fan. This is an essential version, in my opinion, of Thor that, you know, you're not really going to see that much. And the Destroyer really makes the set because he's completely new, and he's pretty great. Way I got it figured, I'm going to give this set a 9 out of 10. Again, I really like the Destroyer. I think they did a good job with him. And Thor, while he is reused, he does have some new parts to set him apart from, you know, your standard traditional Thor. And yeah, you know, this will be my 4th comic book Thor in my collection. And I don't know. It might not be. I mean, if they ever do the armored one, I guess I would probably want that. But for now, I think I'm pretty good on Thor's. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with a 9 with that. So like I said, I do have the Incredible Hulk Bruce Banner 2-pack, and that's going to get reviewed soon. So we got some more Earth's Mightiest coming, as well as another video I need to do regarding the Avengers 60th anniversary. So please stick around. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Helps out the channel. We definitely want it to grow. And I do want to thank all the new subscribers who've been subscribing, for giving me a shot and you know, enjoying the content. And if you have been rocking with me, keep rocking with me. You know, it's only going to get better from here. All right, guys, I'm going to end it there. Everybody stay safe, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.